Hi guys, Key Ward here, aka the Rambling River Cat. Today I'd like to share with you my top 10 Passport America parks in the Western U.S. So I should go ahead and warn you, my criteria is a little bit different than a lot of people. Wi-Fi or level sites isn't going to make or break my experience at a campground. My criteria is pretty simple. Did I enjoy the campground? Did I enjoy the area? And sometimes it's one or the other or both. Well, let's go ahead and jump right in. We'll start with the honorable mention park, Arabian Oasis in Boron, California. Enjoy. Okay, so Arabian RV Oasis is definitely a no-frills park, and most people don't even unhitch here. But there's really no need to unhitch because downtown Boron is only a 5-minute walk away. Boron, California has two museums, the Air Force Museum and the 20 Mule Team Museum, which is all about the history of the area and boron and how borax came to be and how borax was transported with mules. But there's more to the town of Boron than just borax and mules. If you have time to unhitch, you can actually drive down to Hinckley, where the movie Aaron Brockovich was filmed. Whatever you do, don't leave town before you visit 20 Mule Cafe. It's a Mexican restaurant, but they serve a lot of American food as well, and the food is really decent. And what I really love about it, it's super, super cheap. Halstead, Kansas. Well, I gotta tell you, there's not a whole bunch to do in Halstead, Kansas, but the campground itself just has that good old-fashioned Midwestern camping feel, the kind of camps I went to growing up. So I have to include it on the list. It's a wonderful park, has lots of little ponds and bugs and frogs. It's just classic camping. Now, how cool is this? Anytime I want, even in the white, bright sunshine in Arizona, I have a place in the shade on this double decker here. Not only that, it's right on the Colorado River and only a few feet from my campsite. And how cool is my campsite right on the Colorado River? I have a deck right in front of my site, so I'm assuming it's mine, but I do let other people use it. Fenders RV Resort is not only on the Colorado River, but it's on Route 66 as well, which is really cool because you get to meet a lot of people that are a part of that fraternity. I know recently Fenders acquired the larger RV park next door, so I have no idea what the landscape looks like now. But the times that I stayed there was a very small, intimate community, so they wouldn't necessarily schedule activities, but sometimes they would sort of randomly open up the clubhouse and have a potluck, and we'd all drink a few beers. And those were good times. I can't think of a better way to watch the sunset on the Colorado River. Well, here's another terrific campground on the Colorado River, Mayflower County Park in Blythe, California. And here it's all about lawn bowling. I never knew much about the sport before I came here, but I gotta tell you, it's a great time, and many of these campers have been coming here for 40 plus years to bowl on the lawn. Okay, so lawn bowling is king here, but there's certainly a lot of activities going on throughout the park. And the interesting thing about it is they don't have a clubhouse here, so different campers are just hosting different activities. Now, I gotta tell you, the reason I chose Blythe in the first place was to visit the largest bluegrass festival in the country and also Quartzsite. Even during the big tent, I had no trouble making reservations here and I got to enjoy hookups. Sunset Harbor is a perfect example of a no-frills park in a great location. Now, they only allow one Passport America night, but what I recommend doing is go ahead and pay full price for an extra 1 or 2 nights. You still save 20 or 30%, and there's so much to do in Crescent City, it's worth it. So not only is the campground directly across the street from the marina where you can watch the fishermen and the seals, it's also a short driving distance from Battery Point where you can go check out the lighthouse and do some tide pooling. So you have the Pacific Ocean, you have the redwood forest, and even the casino has a poker room. Crescent City is a really neat little town. I recommend it. The next two parks in my countdown are both in Pahrump, Nevada, and I should apologize to Lakeside Casino because I can't really do this park justice. I was a horrible photographer that week. It wasn't that I wasn't taking pictures, I took lots, but they were really bad pictures. Anyway, it has a beautiful lake with a trail around it. There's a clubhouse in the middle of the lake. Beautiful clubhouse, mostly for private functions. There's also a swimming pool, paddle boats, and even a beach. What's really nice about Lakeside is they have a casino right on the property, as well as a restaurant, a convenience store, and a gas station. So you barely have to leave the property for entertainment or provisions. But typical of most casino RV parks, they don't necessarily schedule activities for the RVers. They want you to socialize in the casino, which is cool. They have bands there, and there's also a nice sports bar where you can visit with other RVers. Welcome to Preferred RV Park in Pahrump, Nevada. This is a brand new one on me. It's a retractable roof pool, and it is very popular. Now, I had to rank this park just above Lakeside Casino because of this pool, for one, and also because of the variety of activities they offer every single day. It's quite possibly the most active park I've ever seen. Now, you have a handful of casinos to choose from in Pahrump, and the best one is directly across the street from Preferred RV Resort, and that's Pahrump Nugget, and they actually have a poker room there. Or if the casinos in Pahrump just don't do it for you, you can just go down the hill and visit the mega resorts in Las Vegas, only a few minutes away. Or if casinos aren't your thing at all, you can visit the local wineries and visit Death Valley National Park. I very rarely feature a propane station, but I gotta tell you, this is a really nice touch, having a little bit of shade while you're waiting on your propane. And by the way, this is the cheapest propane I've ever run across in the country. Not only are there a lot of scheduled activities at Preferred RV Park, but there's a lot of things here that you can do on your own as well. This is the woodworking shop. Yeah, there's actually a guy here that has an ad up in the woodworking shop that wants to help people with their projects. I could probably put him to work. As far as social activities, I think Preferred RV Park is number one on my list. It's a fantastic resort, and I think the best thing of all is you can stay here for 14 nights on Passport America. Well, there's no hot tub at Napa County Fairgrounds, but I'll tell you what, location, location, location. It's 5 minutes from downtown Calistoga, where you can go down there and order a beer, and they'll give you a dirty look because you're in wine country. You may recognize Chateau Montelena from the movie Bottle Shock. This was the first winery to actually compete with the French. I don't know, there's just something magical about California wine country, and if I'm camping there for half price, I'm very, very happy. Did you ever know there was such a thing as mountain thunderstorms? Well, they happen nearly every day here in southern Colorado, and I couldn't get enough of it. And while they're seemingly only a couple miles away, they rarely ever blew into camp. I instantly felt at home at Haggard's, and it doesn't hurt that it's surrounded by pastures and beautiful mountain backdrops. The sunsets at night were just unbelievable, and the stars were the most spectacular I'd ever seen. You would swear there were a million of them the size of softballs. The locals here are probably the most friendliest and fascinating people you'll ever meet. And this whole couple here, they're actually allowed to keep a garden at the campground. And they have the most unusual assortment of fruits and vegetables I've ever seen. They gave me one of these rattlesnake watermelons, and it was to die for. The sweetest watermelon I've probably ever had in my life. But I can't say that rattlesnake watermelon was the most unusual food I ever had. Um, this slopper burger is pretty darn close, and slopper burgers are famous in southern Colorado, from Colorado Springs down to Pueblo, and they have contests every year to see who has the best slopper burger. So basically what it is, it's a cheeseburger immersed in this green chili goop. It's weird. It tastes okay, but the consistency is a little unnerving. Royal Gorge is very close by, and this is the second highest suspension bridge in the world. But if you want some real adventure, try the one-lane, two-way traffic on Highway 67. Yes, this is a highway. And after that cliffhanger on Highway 67, you may just want to have a beer in Cripple Creek. This is an old mining town that was turned into a bunch of saloons and casinos, and it's just wonderful. Besides the Oregon coast, southern Utah is my favorite region in the U.S., and this is my favorite park in southern Utah, Red Ledge. There's so much to do in the area, but every day I find myself wrestling with what I'm going to do because this park in this tiny little Mormon town is just so quiet and relaxing. And I come here and I instantly unwind. Kanarra Falls is actually a short walk from the campground, and it's here that you can actually hike up a stream into a slot canyon, and there are waterfalls in the slot canyon. You want day trips? You got day trips. Go in any direction you want. You got several national parks in the area. Calobe Canyon. You have Cedar Breaks National Monument. Bryce Canyon. And this is my favorite right here. This is the Navajo Trail at Bryce Canyon. Don't want to spend money on a national park? There's plenty to see. There's lots of free hiking in the area, especially at Duck Creek, and you can go to Cedar City and see the Homestead Museum. Brian Head's a very popular tourist destination, as well as St. George. And again, you don't have to go far at all. This is Spring Creek Canyon right here in Kanarraville. It's on BLM land. It's absolutely free, and it's a wonderful trail with slot canyons on it. I can't tell you how much I love this area. There's so much to do, and when you don't want to do anything, it's a perfect place to do nothing at all. Camp Klamath is a cozy little corner where the ocean meets the river, and it just doesn't get much better than this. Not only that, you have a very friendly staff here, and a convenience store right on site where you can buy your beer. There's a short trail right to the Klamath River, but you got to watch out for bear poop. And I guess, for that matter, bears. If there's bear poop, there's got to be bears, right? But what a wonderful backyard. You can't beat it. But if the river doesn't do it for you and redwoods aren't for you, well, it's a short drive to the Pacific Ocean. It's only 5 minutes away, and you get to see all the seals and pelicans that you want. Just know before you come to Klamath, California, even though there are more RVers and actual residents here, this is a non-commercialized, authentic Native American town. You will see actual Native Americans picking berries in the woods, and people like this guy that are gaffing who knows what, hopefully not a seal. Now, if you do prefer civilization, Crescent City is just up the road, maybe 20 miles. Now, the major tourist attractions here in the area is the drive-through Redwood right in Klamath, California, and then just north of town are the Trees of Mystery. I love the Trees of Mystery. It's a very cheap admission. You get a lot of bang for your buck. There's so much to see here. You learn a lot about the redwoods, and many of the trees here have been featured on television shows such as Ripley's Believe It or Not. And you get a free tram ride up to the top, and then you just make great friends here. Well, there you have it, my top 10 Passport America parks. I hope you've enjoyed. Uh, Of course, this is a very small sample size of the 1,600 plus Passport America parks out there. So if you're ready to get out there and explore, go ahead and sign up through my affiliate link today, and also subscribe to my channel. These things help me out, of course, and they motivate me to continue posting outstanding content. I'm glad you enjoyed today's video, and please visit me soon.